Imagine for a second that you're in charge of a small island nation. You're surrounded by incredible beauty, sure, but you're also caught between immense pressures. Global superpowers, a climate that's changing fast, and economic giants. So how do you not just survive, but actually thrive? Well, let's get into it, because believe it or not, there's a playbook for that.
So this is the big question, right? And it's not some academic exercise. We're talking about pure existence. For nations that are on the front lines of both climate change and the strategic chess games played by superpowers, finding the right answer isn't just important, it is literally everything.
And this really lays out the core conflict. On one side, you've got these massive existential threats. The seas are rising, global giants are in constant competition, and there are debt traps lurking everywhere. But, and this is the important part, on the other side, you have a powerful set of survival tools. Today, we're going to unpack that toolkit.
Okay, so here's our roadmap. We're going to start with the foundational philosophy, the golden rules. Then we'll look at how you act on the global stage, build your economy, handle geopolitics, and finally, how you put it all together into a modern-day playbook.
First up, the core principles. Now, these aren't just vague ideas. They are the absolute bedrock of every single decision that comes after.
So it all starts with this three-part foundation. First, strategic autonomy. This is simply the power, the backbone to say no, even when a big, flashy deal is on the table. Second, a multi-vector approach. This means you're friends with lots of partners, east, west, north, south, but you're never exclusively tied to just one. And finally, the most important one, the people-first test. For every single foreign agreement, you have to ask, does this actually benefit our own citizens?
And that people-first test, it's really anchored by this one powerful idea. It's just a clear, non-negotiable declaration that your own nation's well-being, its prosperity, its dignity, that always comes first. No exceptions.
Okay, so you have this philosophy. How do you actually take it onto the world stage? I mean, how does a small nation make its voice heard above the shouting of all the giants?
Well, the key is understanding you're not alone. You have a team. It's called SIDS, or Small Island Developing States, and it's a formal alliance inside the UN. These are all the nations that share the exact same unique vulnerabilities, which, means they also share a very powerful common cause.
And this is where it gets really smart. They use the small but many strategy. Individually, a small island might just have one little vote, but together, these nations become a really powerful voting bloc. They use that collective strength to influence global rules on things that are critical to their survival, like climate finance and how we govern the oceans. It's a textbook case of turning what looks like a weakness into a major strategic strength. And they pull this off by completely reframing the conversation. For these nations, climate change isn't some side environmental issue. No way. It's a national security threat, plain and simple. That elevates the topic, making it a non-negotiable part of every single diplomatic meeting. And they focus on real, tangible outcomes like funding, new technology, and planning for what's ahead.
Okay, so you found your voice, but to really keep your independence, you need a strong economic shield at home. So let's take a look at how that gets built.
The goal is so simple but so powerful. Diversify everything. Think about it. If all your tourists, all your investment, or all your big construction projects come from just one single country, well, that country has huge leverage over you. By spreading your bets, you keep the control right where it belongs, in your own hands.
So, how do you take foreign investment without selling out? You run every potential deal through a really strict three-part filter. First, sovereignty. Does this deal force us to give up control of something critical, like our main port? The answer has to be no. Second, prosperity. Is this genuinely going to benefit our citizens with good jobs? And third, dignity. Does this deal create some kind of shady dependency through opaque debt? A yes is required on all three of these before any deal even gets considered.
And a really crucial part of this whole defense is radical transparency. See, when you publish the details of big deals and your debt levels, you're not just being honest. You are strategically making it much, much harder for corrupt, backroom deals to happen. It builds trust with your own people, and that trust is your ultimate line of defense.
All right, now for what might be the trickiest part of all. How do you manage relationships when global superpowers are actively competing for influence right on your doorstep? This is some high-stakes geopolitical chess.
The doctrine here is crystal clear. A permanent foreign military base is a red line. It's a non-starter because it totally compromises your sovereignty. But that doesn't mean you're isolated. Instead, you say yes to cooperative security. Things like training, joint patrols, intelligence sharing. But you do it with lots of different partners to handle threats like piracy and illegal fishing.
This is how that balanced hedging approach works in practice. You don't just pick one exclusive partner for everything. Instead, you diversify your relationships. So maybe partner A, a big regional power, helps you build a bridge. Then partner B, a global power, provides some Coast Guard training. And maybe partner C comes in and supplies surveillance tech. By weaving together contributions from different players, no single country can dominate you. You're the one who stays in control.
So, we've covered the philosophy, the diplomacy, the economics, and the security. The final step is to bring it all together and make it official, to turn this strategy into actual written-down doctrine. And here it is, the complete playbook, all codified. You've got the friends with all, client of none, doctrine for your security. You have a sovereign investment charter to filter all those deals. There's a climate and ocean first test for any major policies, and a formal strategy for how you leverage your power in global forums. It's a whole, comprehensive system.
And that's really the key takeaway here. What we've just walked through, it's not just a menu of random policies. It is a complete, integrated blueprint for resilience. It's a truly sophisticated strategy designed to make sure a small nation doesn't just survive, but actively protects its sovereignty in this very complicated world. And all of this leaves us with one final big thought. We've seen how one type of nation can do it, by being smart, by being united, and by being principled. But the real question is, could this be the model for how all small states can navigate and maybe even shape the massive challenges of the 21st century?